The biggest mistake us introverts make is to assume that it's only the few who are gifted, who are able to connect deeply with people. I want you to realize you can connect deeply, no matter how shy you are. Because I've been there, and I realized over the years that you can use psychology and mind hacks to your advantage. And there are these 5 steps. If you adopt it today, you'll notice a huge difference. So make sure to pay close attention. Without further ado, let's go on to the first step, which is to see whoever you're speaking to as a friend, and you need to show trust first. And you got to really believe that. You see, as human beings, we like to reciprocate. We like to give back something that somebody else has given us. And that's why whenever you've had a friend who's, given you something, maybe a gift or a present for your birthday, you feel obliged almost to give back the gift. Well, here's the gift you want to give to the person you're speaking to next. Give them a gift of trust. Because if right now you've been through maybe in the past some bad relationships and you don't trust anyone, you're going to find it incredibly hard for people to trust you moving forwards, because life's a mirror of you and you got to lead it. You got to pace and lead it. What does that mean? When you're about to go into a conversation, you got to legitimately trust that individual. And it's hard, yes, I get it, because I'm sure you would agree, you've come across some people before, they don't even say a single word, but you feel this warmth around them. You almost feel like you know them. Have you ever come across somebody before who are looking at you like this and you're like, do I know you? Think about it. It's all non-verbal, subconscious, right? And you can actually give this a shot yourself. Try to look at the next person that you don't know, out in the middle of the street, don't creep them out too much, but look at them like you really know them. And if you've done it properly, if you've really got yourself into state, you'll notice they'll look at you like, oh, I think I know you as well. That's how powerful it is. So whenever you're networking, view them as a friend and you'll notice immediately it's just warmth. That's what it's all about. That's the first step. The second step is mirror the non-verbal and verbal. So let's start with the verbal. Whenever we are describing something in life, you'll notice that there are specific language patterns we use. For example, when you're in a conversation with somebody, if they say, last week was devastating, you'll never believe what happened. If you want to build rapport on a subconscious level, what you do is you don't say, oh, so why was last week so terrible? You use the same word back. Why was last week so devastating for you? And now you're creating the rapport using the same language patterns. So that's verbal mirroring. In regards to non-verbal, if they are stood there with their arms crossed and talking to you, you want to slowly do the same. Don't be obvious about it, just slowly, just do this, okay, naturally. And you can actually test to see if you've created a subconscious rapport with somebody. Try this out, it's a really fun game. Once you've done this enough for about several minutes, if you go like this and unfold your arms, if you created enough of a rapport, you'll notice they'll do the same. And this is why you've probably heard of how, in terms of what you say, it doesn't really matter too much in the communication, right? So much of our communication is done through non-verbals, the subconscious, the body language, and so forth. And that's how powerful it really is. So try mirroring the non-verbal as well as the verbal, because it really complements this subconscious rapport. The third point is, instead of trying to be interesting, try to be interested. The problem is, if you're trying to be interesting, it's almost like if you're trying to be genuine. Have you ever come across somebody who's trying to be genuine? What do they come across like? Fake, right? If you try to be something you already are, you're only going to overcompensate. True. So you want to make sure right now that you don't try to be it, you already are it. So instead, put the energy all on them. Be really interested in that human being. If an alien, imagine there's a friendly alien that's just touched down and this alien is staring back at you right now, and they were cute looking, so you're not scared of them. I'm sure you would be very interested about how they perceive life. And I'm sure you have almost like the look on your eyes like a child gives to their father or mother, right? In terms of like, oh my God, you just taught me how to tie my shoes. That sort of breakthrough moment. And if you remember the times that you've ever connected with somebody on a deep level and you really like them, you'll notice that they show a lot of interest in you. True. And this is how powerful it is. So instead of trying to be interesting and come across fake, be interested in them. The fourth point is to make others feel felt. Now, I don't want you to get any charges pressed against you. It doesn't mean physically touch them. Don't physically touch unless, of course, it is part of the conversation, and I'm sure I didn't explain when you should touch somebody, right? I don't mean physically touch, but what I mean is humans, we are emotional creatures. You'll never find, if you ever ask a married couple who's been in a relationship for decades, if you have to ask them, what made you get married and stay in this relationship and so forth, you'll never get them turning around to you saying, oh, it's because when I met my wife for the first time in a bar, I saw that she had these qualities. It was like 89% confidence and like breaking it down with numbers. You'll never hear that, right? It'll be like, what the hell? You just hear something on lines of, when I met her, I just really connected with her and I just really liked her. She made me feel special. No matter how much we like to think we're very logical, as human beings, so much of our behavior is firstly habituated, so we are unconscious most of the day. And also secondly, so much of our behavior in regards to what we do is emotionally led. Hence why you may have procrastinated before, or you've eaten something that you know is not healthy. Hence why sometimes you do something that you know you shouldn't be doing. It's all driven by emotions. Oh, I just wanted to, taste that next bite of that donut, and then I was just like, screw it, might as well eat the whole donut, right? That sort of scenario. It's all emotionally driven in terms of that decision. So knowing this, knowing that people aren't going to really remember what you say so much, but how you really made them feel, you want to really make sure that they feel felt by you. How do you do this? Well, you want to show empathy. Come from a place where you're intrigued, where you're coming from a place of understanding, and where you may be even emotionally mirroring them. If they're beginning to get upset by a specific topic, show that you're also upset. And by doing that and not being fake about it, just being legitimate, genuine, by being legitimate with your emotions in terms of what story they're sharing with you, they will feel felt. That's the power of it. Give it a shot. So let's go on to the final point. The final point is incredibly important, is to show enthusiasm. I can't tell you how many times I've ever, spoken on stage and during networking when people are coming up to me, they're asking for different sometimes favors and stuff like that in terms of business opportunities, business deals. They want to, have me as a mentor, whatever it may be, right? And I can't tell you how many times that inside I know the fact that they probably are very excited. On the outside, they just are lacking enthusiasm. And as a result, it just kills the vibe. For me, it's just like, there's no enthusiasm. And I can relate to them because they're introverts, but if they're not willing to put a little bit of effort in, of increasing the energy, gifting some positive energy back to me, well, it's quite hard for me to connect back to them. But whenever you're in a conversation with somebody, make it a game to positively gift an energy to that person. How you do that is to show enthusiasm. Have you ever seen a child who is just for the first time just discovering something? You'll notice they're so enthusiastic. They're like, oh my God, you can tie shoes? Right? And you're like, whoa. And they're like, just being around like children, you'll notice your energy is just going up and up. Or you've probably come across some people before, the energy's so high, right? And what does that make you do? If it's coming from the right place and they've got high energy, you'll notice your energy's going up and up. But then if you come across somebody who's total opposite, kind of like a monotoned person, kind of like how I used to sound back in the past, like this. So yeah, it's quite important for you to make sure that you're doing this. And I really enjoy what you're saying. I'm so excited to meet you. Nice to meet you. My name is Tim and I'm very happy right now. Whenever you come across somebody like that, you're like, oh my God. We can't help but judge. We can't help but judge. Isn't that true? So you want to just raise your enthusiasm. This doesn't mean come across fake. This just means give it a little bit more energy, because your energy is just going to raise their vibration. Your energy is going to basically rub off onto them. So if you're finding people are bored around you, it's because you are being bored. Life's a mirror of you right now. So if you've got the tendency to talk like how I used to talk, practice every single day. Yes, it takes effort. Yes, I had to do videos. Yes, I had to criticize myself. Yes, I cringed for like several years just watching my videos. But guess what? At the end of it, I was able to just finally get myself to a stage where people are inviting me to speak on stages, like TEDx invited me and top universities invited me and got to meet the president. It wasn't because it was some form of luck. I've just practiced many times, committing to world class. This is what we do as high achievers. So do whatever it takes to take action on the 5 steps I share with you inside it. Be sure to let me know in the comments box below your biggest takeaway from today's session, what you're gonna take action on. And like this video also inside it if you like this video, and share this video with just one person that you know would benefit from this. Life is about paying forwards. I just want to say have an incredible rest of the day, and as always, follow your heart and take action.